Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Trading the Close. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at VerifiedInvesting.com. All right, so the markets today are seeing some sell pressure, although I will say one stock is keeping the NASDAQ up. Many of us can guess what that stock is. Yes, it is Nvidia. So we're going to take a look at that. We're going to see what else is moving. Bitcoin falling back below the 68,000 level. That's very, very key. And then gold potentially telling us it's in for a short-term pullback here after putting in a topping tail. Walk over with me, folks. Let's take a look at the trading action today. What we can see right here is the Dow is taking the brunt of the selling today, down about 0.9% or 387 points. The NASDAQ, like we talked about, the Nvidia trade, that continues to be in play, new all-time highs on Nvidia, and you can just see the NASDAQ is turning green here in the final few minutes of the day. S&P 500 down about 0.25%, and then if we look at oil finally seeing a little bit of a technical bounce here, while gold is flat to negative. And that's very key, folks. Flat to negative after it was up earlier, creating that topping tail reversal short-term signal. Lastly, Bitcoin trading at 67,840, down about 1,200 on the day, again getting pushed below. This is how the markets love to do. I mean, the algorithms pushed it above 68, making most retail think it's breaking out. Then they want to flush those players that jumped on that breakout or fake breakout in. They flush them out by bringing it back down, and we'll talk about maybe the next move up taking place in the next couple days. All right, taking a look at the heat map here, guys. Look at that. That one stock right there. 3.11%, huge move up. But look at all the red in the financials. We're really seeing a lot of the rest of the market. I mean, you go to retail, producer, consumer staples, healthcare, all of these other sectors, there's mostly red out there in the market, except that one stock right here, which is vying for the biggest market cap, trying to beat out Apple, very, very close to doing that. So we're going to keep an eye on that. All right, let's go over a few charts here. Overall, folks, again, a day when we saw the markets holding their own. And again, if we go to the S&P 500, let's take a look. Look at this, guys. So we opened slightly negative on the day right here, inched up a little bit, and then the sell action came in. Notice where the markets bottomed at 11 a.m. And I've talked about this previously. We've talked about how the markets tend to see institutional selling in that first hour and a half of the day. Then the institutions shut off the faucet, and the market generally floats back up because retail doesn't usually short. Some retail does, but a majority of retail doesn't short, so that's buying pressure. It floats the market off those lows. Sometimes that selling comes out late in the day, but there has to be enough volume. We are not seeing enough volume today. So institutional selling took place this morning. It's shut off for the rest of the day. We'll see if it reemerges tomorrow. Nvidia, guys, take a look at this. Look at this, up 3.86%, surging into the end of the day here. It is above its previous pivot high. Where is this going? I have it priced to go to $150, guys. $150. How am I arriving at that target price right up here? So 150 would be, this would be your max high. And the answer to that is going over to the Bitcoin chart. Let's take a look there. If we go to Bitcoin, and we're going to ignore the current action, we're going to go back to 2021. Let's go to the weekly chart here. So if we move over to 2021, we can see this M top formation. I believe this is what is going to happen to Nvidia. And what we do is we take a measurement and we take the previous high in 2021 to the high here, which was about 6.5%. If we go back to Nvidia and we map out a 6.5% move above the previous high, let's do that now. Bring this down like this, and we take this high and go up 6.5%. Where does it take us? Right to 150. And I think that'll be an M top right there. You'll then see significant sell pressure. But think about it like this, right? If we go back to me, you have to understand that the markets tend to want to get as many people as they can on one side of the trade, and then they want to flush them out. We saw that happen in August, early August with Nvidia when it dropped to $90 per share. Now it's moved back up. It's gaining more and more bulls. As it takes out the all-time high today, you're going to get even more bulls on board, and you'll stop out a lot of the shorts. They then will push it up, gaining every last ounce of bull possibility out there before they flush it back down. And these are the games that institutions play. It's also human psychology. Most people don't understand. A lot of this is human psychology just playing out over and over and over again. All right, Boeing's chart. Boeing up today as the strike looks to be over. Again, coming off technical support, up only a little bit on the day, not a big move there. This is the chart I wanted to discuss. Take a look at this gold chart. Pivot high right through here to this high here, and this is how I arrived at my 27.30 target. We pierced it this morning. We are now putting in what we would call a topping tail. Let's go over to the big board and discuss what topping tails are. All right. So topping tails here, guys, this is where a chart pushes up early and is rejected and comes back closing in the lower 25% of the candle. This is a signal that if you look over historically at many charts, this signals a high probability of a short-term reversal. I think that's what's going to happen here. You have this beautiful wedge. I think at minimum you're going to come back into this level around 26.50, maybe 26.40. I even still think there's a chance that we could see a move down to about the 2,500 level. Same thing applies. Think about how many bulls have jumped on board the gold trade. When I was loving gold early this year, there was no one else. I shouldn't say no one. Peter Schiff out there, of course, he was loving gold. He's always loved gold. But the idea was that most people hated it. I got ridiculed for saying that I love gold. Now up here, everyone's jumped on the bandwagon. That means the market is going to want to flush those weak hands out and bring it in. At least that's what this candle formation here is telling us. So watch for that at least down here, potentially down to about the 2,500 marker. And then once it gets people doubting the trade again, that's when you'll see that bigger move up. Probably next year we see $3,000 per ounce on gold. All right. On to a couple other charts here. Silver, which had that amazing move on Friday, did see a pullback today. Well, not pullback, but more of a pause day. Still holding above resistance. I have my resistance level up here at around $35 to $36 as resistance. That'll be where I start to look to potentially short it. Or if it pulls back into support here at $32.50, I would then buy it for a move up into that level. Oil today, small bounce. If you know your time counts, which is something I teach in the Winning Trader series, that's a time count down telling us there was a high probability of a bounce. Notice the upsloping trend line, boom, there's your little bit of a bounce. And lastly, natural gas here. Natural gas getting a good bounce. In all fairness, it was due for a bounce. Look at all this downside action. Technical bounce. Do I care about this bounce? I couldn't care less. I have my levels. I have my short level up here. I have my buy level down here. I'm agnostic on which way it goes. Just let it push sizably into one of my technical trading levels, and I can take a trade in that direction. And remember, folks, always be agnostic. Don't fall in love with a stock. I always say this to people, is there's no stock out there that will love you back. Only fall in love with things that will love you back. Stocks, crypto, it's all meant to be a vehicle for generating financial success or profits for you. And so you have to treat it as such. When you fall in love, you use emotion to rule your judgment, not common sense and logic and technicals. So always remember that, guys. It's one of the biggest lessons I learned when I was young. Never fall in love with the trade. You could be wrong on any trade at any time, and you have to be ready to admit and just move on to the next trade. All right, I'm going to get going, guys. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow for the game plan. Take care.